Welcome to 101 Ghost Stories. Tonight, we dive into Volume 2 of Australia's Most Haunted Places, featuring some of the country's most spine-chilling sights. From abandoned asylums to eerie arcades, each location has a haunting tale and lingering spirits waiting to be uncovered. These well-known haunted locations are filled with both history and paranormal activity, making them places you won't want to visit alone. To our returning subscribers, thank you for being part of this ghostly journey. And to new listeners, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to join us for future explorations into the unknown. Let's begin if you dare. Haunted Place Number 10. Adelaide Arcade, South Australia. Adelaide Arcade, built in 1885, stands as one of Australia's oldest shopping centres, and also one of its most haunted. Though charming by day, this historic arcade takes on a darker atmosphere once the sun sets. Its most well-known ghost is Francis Cluney, a caretaker who tragically died in the building in 1887. Francis was found crushed by machinery in the basement, and ever since, staff and visitors have reported eerie sightings of his ghostly figure walking through the arcade's long, dim corridors. Shadowy figures have been seen in shop windows after hours, lights flicker inexplicably, and footsteps echo through empty spaces. The arcade has embraced its haunted reputation, offering ghost tours where visitors can experience the eerie atmosphere for themselves. Some guests report hearing faint whispers and even feeling an icy chill near where Francis's accident took place. The Adelaide Arcade is a site where history meets the supernatural, and its haunted energy remains alive to this day. Haunted Place Number 9. National Film and Sound Archive, Canberra. The National Film and Sound Archive in Canberra has a deep connection with Australia's cinematic heritage. But this building's history extends beyond film. It was originally built as a morgue, and it seems some spirits may still reside there. Staff members have shared unsettling encounters, from flickering lights to the unmistakable sound of footsteps echoing through empty halls. These events often happen in the basement, where the morgue once operated, and where a ghost affectionately nicknamed Fred is believed to reside. Fred is thought to be a former morgue worker who never left. His presence is often felt in the form of cold drafts and malfunctioning equipment. Visitors and staff report experiencing sudden chills and hearing whispered voices that seem to come from nowhere. Even security footage has captured orbs and shadowy figures drifting through the archive's halls. Paranormal investigators have visited the archive multiple times, and each investigation has turned up more mysterious encounters. Though filled with priceless records of film and sound, it's clear that the National Film and Sound Archive holds much more than memories. It may also hold on to its former inhabitants. Haunted Place Number 8. The Sebel Yarralumla, Canberra. Next, we visit the Sebel Yarralumla in Canberra. Once a grand hotel and government guest house, this heritage-listed building has a ghostly reputation of its own. Its history includes hosting diplomats, politicians, and public figures, and yet, it's the supernatural residents who seem to draw the most intrigue. Among the spirits reportedly haunting the Sebel is a woman in white, believed to be the ghost of a former guest who met a tragic end within the building's walls. Staff and guests have reported seeing her spectral figure drifting through the hotel's corridors, often accompanied by an intense, overwhelming sadness. Some guests wake in the middle of the night to find her standing at the foot of their beds, silently observing them. Cold spots and electrical disturbances are common, with lights flickering for no apparent reason and the occasional inexplicable chill settling in a room. It's said that the woman's tragic story is somehow tied to a sorrowful event that took place within the hotel, and that she continues to wander in search of peace. Despite modern renovations, the Sebel's eerie atmosphere has only grown over the years, with each new sighting adding to its haunted history. Haunted Place Number 7. Kapunda Cemetery, South Australia. Known as Australia's most haunted town, Kapunda has a chilling reputation, especially when it comes to its cemetery. Founded during the copper mining boom of the 1800s, the town saw its share of tragedy, poverty, and death, and the souls of many unfortunate miners are said to remain. At the heart of these ghost stories is Kapunda Cemetery, a haunting place where visitors often report seeing mysterious figures and hearing unsettling sounds. One of the most well-known apparitions is the Grey Lady, believed to be the spirit of a young nun who lived in a nearby convent and died under mysterious circumstances. Her ghost is frequently spotted roaming the graves, shrouded in mist, or standing silently beside tombstones. Some locals say she's searching for her lost children. Others claim she's a warning to those who disturb the dead. Visitors have reported sudden, icy chills and even the sensation of someone watching them, despite being alone. Paranormal investigators who've dared to explore the cemetery claim that the presence of the Grey Lady brings an intense feeling of sorrow, as if the air itself carries her grief. Other spirits, including the ghosts of miners and townspeople, are said to haunt this cemetery as well, their voices sometimes heard in the distance, crying out as if they're still trapped within Kapunda's dark history. With so many reports of the paranormal, Kapunda Cemetery continues to be a place where the past and the present meet in unsettling ways, and where the spirits of the town's haunted history refuse to rest. Haunted place number 6, North Head Quarantine Station, Manly, New South Wales. Situated on the shores of Sydney Harbour, the North Head Quarantine Station is a chilling remnant of Australia's history with disease. Used from the 1830s through the early 1900s, the quarantine station was where passengers suspected of carrying infectious diseases were held, often for weeks or months on end. Many never left, succumbing to their illnesses in isolation, and their spirits are said to haunt the grounds to this day. Visitors report encounters with shadowy figures, ghostly whispers, and unexplainable cold spots, especially near the old hospital and mortuary. The luggage room, where belongings were stored and disinfected, is particularly eerie. People feel a lingering energy as if the items themselves are carrying the sorrow of their former owners. The gravedigger's cottage and the hospital precinct are also frequent sites of paranormal activity, with visitors and staff reporting a sense of dread and sightings of pale, sickly apparitions that drift through the misty air. The most active spirit is believed to be Mary and a young woman who succumbed to smallpox while in quarantine. Her ghost is often seen near the hospital, her face pale and sorrowful as she drifts in and out of view. Paranormal tours regularly encounter strange phenomena around her usual haunts, from cold winds sweeping through sealed rooms to objects moving on their own. Mary is said to reach out to those who enter, as if seeking comfort or understanding from those who walk her former prison. The quarantine station is now a heritage site and open for tours, yet the paranormal activity continues. Many believe the souls who perished here are trapped in a tragic loop, forever reliving their final days. For those brave enough to visit, North Head offers an eerie glimpse into the past, where the fear and sorrow of those who were forced into quarantine seem to linger still. Haunted place number 5, Ararat Lunatic Asylum, Aradale, Victoria. Known as Aradale, the Ararat Lunatic Asylum in Victoria is a sprawling complex that was built in the 1860s to house those deemed mentally insane or otherwise unfit for society. Over its 130 years of operation, thousands of patients passed through its gates, many of whom never left. The facility was notorious for its harsh treatment methods, with isolation rooms, electroshock therapy, and other now outdated practices that left their mark on the spirits within. One of the most feared locations at Aradale is the men's ward, where violent patients were housed under strict surveillance. Visitors often feel an overwhelming sense of anger and despair here, as if the walls themselves absorb the misery of those held within. Shadows dart around corners, doors slam shut unexpectedly, and eerie, disembodied whispers echo through the empty hallways. Paranormal investigators have recorded strange EVP, electronic voice phenomena, in this ward, with voices that seem to call out for release. The nurses' quarters are another hotspot for ghostly encounters. Many nurses were reportedly driven to madness or despair themselves due to the harsh conditions and the weight of their patients' suffering. Visitors report seeing ghostly figures in white, wandering the halls, their faces expressionless and eyes distant. One particularly unnerving entity is a nurse known as Old Margaret, whose ghost is seen carrying a tray, her footsteps soft but unmistakable. She's believed to have been a matron in the asylum, known for her stern demeanor and ruthless dedication to her work. Guests claim to feel her icy gaze as they walk through the quarters, as though she's watching them to ensure no one breaks the asylum's strict rules. Aradale is now a popular location for ghost tours, drawing visitors from around the world. Those who've braved the experience leave with unsettling stories, recounting cold chills, unexplained footsteps, and a sense of being watched. For anyone daring to enter, Ararat Lunatic Asylum offers a journey into one of Australia's darkest histories, where the echoes of tortured souls continue to haunt the halls. Haunted Place Number 4. Beechworth Lunatic Asylum, Victoria. Beechworth Lunatic Asylum, originally known as the Mayday Hills Asylum, is one of Australia's most infamous mental institutions. Opened in 1867, it housed over 1,200 patients at its peak and became known for its brutal treatment methods, similar to those at Aradale. Many patients were admitted for reasons that seem shocking by today's standards. Melancholia, hysteria, and even misbehavior could lead to a one-way ticket to Beechworth. It's said that nearly 3,000 people died within its walls, and many believe their spirits linger, unable to find peace. One of the most haunted areas is Cell Block B, where screams are still heard echoing through the corridors. Many who enter the building report hearing scratching sounds on the walls and feeling a strange, oppressive weight, as if something unseen is pushing down on them. Paranormal investigators frequently encounter cold spots and have recorded mysterious voices, some pleading for help, others simply whispering unintelligible words. The morgue is also notorious for ghostly encounters, with visitors reporting a sudden chill upon entry, along with the faint smell of antiseptic and decay, a reminder of the final resting place for many patients. One of Beechworth's most famous ghosts is Matron Sharp, a former staff member who cared deeply for her patients and is said to continue watching over the asylum's visitors even in death. Witnesses claim to see her specter, dressed in a Victorian nurse's uniform, moving along the corridors. Known for her kindness in life, Matron Sharp's presence is often felt as a warm, yet sorrowful energy, as if she's still tending to the souls trapped within the asylum. There's even a story that she helps guide visitors safely through the building, especially if they're respectful of the spirits within. But not all spirits at Beechworth are so gentle. Some guests report terrifying encounters with shadowy figures in the gardens and old patient rooms. These entities seem to carry the anger and pain of those who suffered here, and encounters with them often leave visitors feeling uneasy, if not outright terrified. For those brave enough to visit, Beechworth Lunatic Asylum offers an encounter with some of Australia's darkest hauntings, a place where the boundary between the past and the present is thin, and the echoes of the past refuse to stay silent. Haunted Place Number 3. Maitland Jail, New South Wales. Maitland Jail, an imposing structure in New South Wales, was one of Australia's most notorious maximum security prisons. Opened in 1848, it housed some of the country's most dangerous criminals, and its brutal regime of punishment and isolation made it a place of fear and misery for over 150 years. Inmates were subjected to hard labor, isolation cells, and strict discipline, creating an environment thick with despair and anger. Even after its closure in 1998, the oppressive energy remains, and Maitland has earned a reputation as one of Australia's most haunted places. Many reports of paranormal activity come from Cell Block E, where prisoners were often confined in solitary for days, even weeks. Visitors report an overwhelming sense of dread and claustrophobia in these tiny cells, with some feeling an invisible presence pressing in on them, as if trapped within the same small space. Ghostly voices echo through the halls, and some have reported hearing agonized screams at night, a haunting reminder of the tormented lives that once inhabited these walls. Paranormal investigators often capture EVP recordings of anguished moans and guttural whispers. One of the most famous ghostly residents of Maitland Jail is the spirit of a former inmate named Raymond, who was executed on site. His ghost is believed to roam the grounds, especially near the gallows where he met his end. Visitors claim to see a shadowy figure lingering near the gallows, and many report a sudden cold breeze when passing by, despite the warm weather. The shower block is another area that draws attention, as it's where intense violence and frequent fights among inmates occurred. Paranormal enthusiasts often sense an overwhelming hostility here, with some visitors reporting that they felt pushed or scratched by an unseen force. Today, Maitland Jail is open to the public, offering ghost tours that draw thrill seekers and paranormal investigators from across the globe. But the spirits of Maitland Jail are not passive spectators. They're active, often making their presence known in startling and eerie ways. For anyone visiting, the chilling atmosphere and lingering memories of Maitland's dark past are enough to make even the bravest soul shiver. Haunted Place Number 2. Old Melbourne Mint, Victoria. The Old Melbourne Mint in Victoria is a historic landmark that once housed Australia's gold reserves and minted millions of gold coins. Built in the 1870s, the mint played a key role during the gold rush era. And while it's now a museum, some say that spirits from its past still linger within its grand, imposing structure. The building is often shrouded in mystery, with stories of ghostly apparitions and unexplained events, hinting that not all of its past residents have left. Staff and visitors frequently report sightings of a shadowy figure, believed to be the spirit of a former guard who worked at the mint during its heyday. This guard, known for his stern demeanor and fierce loyalty to his job, is often seen patrolling the corridors as if still protecting the precious gold once stored here. Witnesses describe the apparition as a tall man in an old-fashioned uniform, his presence marked by a sudden drop in temperature. Some have even reported hearing the faint jingle of keys, followed by a gust of cold air that leaves them frozen in place. The counting room is another hotspot for supernatural encounters. It was here that workers handled vast sums of gold, and the pressure was high to ensure that none of it went missing. Tales of greed, theft, and sudden death circulate around the mint, and many believe these intense emotions left an imprint on the building. Visitors report a feeling of being watched, and some say they felt an icy hand on their shoulder while standing in the counting room alone. Strange sounds, such as shuffling footsteps and murmurs, are also frequently reported, especially after dark. One of the eeriest locations within the mint is the vault, where gold was securely stored. Entering the vault is said to bring a heavy, oppressive feeling, as if the weight of the past still bears down on visitors. Paranormal investigators have reported hearing faint whispers and strange knocking sounds, despite no one else being around. The vault is rumored to be haunted by the spirits of workers who took their secrets, and perhaps a piece of the mint's treasure, to their graves. For those who enter, the Old Melbourne Mint offers an experience filled with both history and the supernatural, where the spirits of Melbourne's gilded past seem determined to make themselves known. Haunted Place Number 1. The Alkimos Shipwreck, Western Australia. Off the coast of Western Australia lies one of the country's most eerie and mysterious locations, the Alkimos Shipwreck. This World War II-era ship met a tragic fate when it ran aground near Perth in 1963, and it's remained lodged there ever since. But the Alkimos isn't just any old wreck. The stories surrounding it are filled with strange occurrences, bad luck, and alleged supernatural encounters, earning it a reputation as one of Australia's most haunted places. The ship's troubles began even before it hit Australian waters. During construction in 1943, several workers reportedly died in accidents, fueling rumors that the ship was cursed from the start. After it was launched, the Alkimos experienced mechanical issues, fires, and even sabotage attempts, each incident adding to its ominous aura. But it was after the ship became a wreck that the truly chilling tales started to emerge. Locals and divers report hearing phantom footsteps echoing along the decks, as if the ghosts of sailors long gone are still walking their patrols. Many claim to have seen shadowy figures moving within the rusty hull, disappearing as quickly as they appear. One of the most famous spirits linked to the Alkimos is believed to be the ghost of a young woman. Legend has it that she was trapped on the ship during one of its many misfortunes, and now her restless spirit haunts the wreck. Divers report seeing her figure standing in the portholes, her face pale and forlorn, watching them as they explore the wreckage. They describe a sudden, overwhelming sense of sadness and fear in her presence, as if she's silently pleading for help. The mysterious woman is also blamed for accidents that have occurred around the Alkimos. Boats malfunction, divers experience inexplicable equipment failures, and locals believe she causes bad luck for anyone who gets too close. The waters around the wreck are treacherous, and over the years, several divers have reported sudden surges in waves, strange currents, and eerie sounds emanating from the ship's hull. Some claim to hear disembodied voices calling their names, while others feel an unseen force tugging at them, urging them away from the wreck. Paranormal investigators and thrill-seekers are drawn to the Alkimos, hoping to catch a glimpse of its ghostly inhabitants. But many leave with more questions than answers, haunted by the feeling that something beyond our understanding lurks within the rusted remains of the Alkimos, its mysteries forever sealed beneath the waves. And there you have it, Australia's Top 10 Most Haunted Places Volume 2. Each location holds a piece of the nation's eerie past, where the spirits of history refuse to be silenced. Whether it's a haunted asylum, a lonely shipwreck, or an abandoned cemetery, these places remind us that some stories never end. They echo through time, waiting to be uncovered. Thank you for joining us on this chilling journey through Australia's most haunted sites. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And if you've ever visited one of these haunted places or live near one, we'd love to hear your experiences in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious and stay brave. For 101 Ghost Stories, this is Greg, signing off.